Hello and welcome to Drug Dealer Simulator on the PlayStation. We're going to be going over a beginner's tutorial on how to mix. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so here we are at the beginning in the apartment. Now the reason why you want to mix is to expand your products and makes it less toxic, which means less chances of your clients, passing away from using the stuff. So first you'll want to get some baking soda and your main ingredient, which is going to be amp. And you can get those ingredients at the gas station. We're going to be going over to our desk. Place the mixing tray. We're going to put a jar right there. We're going to place our ingredients. Amp is our main ingredient. And baking soda. This is going to be the ingredient you'll start off using right away as soon as you start the game. When you get some money and get some ingredients. And I'm going to select the baking soda and just place it with that right there. Select my amp. I'm going to go to add. We're going to add all of it. Now I'm going to select this, add, and I'm going to add 3 of it, 3 grams. And as you can see, it's expanded. 13 minus also 0.5%. And this is just because we're using the mixing tray. Now we're gonna apply mix. Now you'll notice right here the main ingredient amp is 76.9. Now if you want to experiment, feel free to do so, but you'll want to stay to the high 70% on your main ingredient. So I would say around 87% is the safest, but as you can see, I'm using the 76.9% for the main ingredient, and I had no complaints, nothing. So, and everyone's fine with this. We're gonna name it amp begin and mix. Now, as you can see, we lost a little bit of product. That's just because we're using a tray and its precision is poor. So eventually when you get to like a better equipment like the large mixer, you can see precision loss is 0%, precision perfect, and it has a larger capacity. Now we're gonna go to select. Now from here you can package if you choose to, but instead we're just gonna pack it and add it to the jar. And there we go. So now we're gonna move on to a little bit more. I would say it's still a beginner's mix, but this is the mix I've been using throughout my gameplay. And I had no issues with it, no complaints. No complaints. Now just know that no mix will guarantee that, no mix will guarantee that customers won't pass away from using the product. There's still a chance no matter what mix you do. Now we have sugar And once you get access to the mortar, simple mortar, we're going to be using this. We're going to select our sugar, add it to the mortar, and we're going to mill it. This takes quite a bit of time to do it. So if you want like a faster grinder, you can get the coffee grinder. Add it. Just note that you will lose some, so it's best to use this coffee mill on ingredients like sugar. You don't want to use this on your main products. And as you can see, it's moving really fast. I'm just gonna add it to my container that already has sugar in it. Alright, so we're gonna start fresh batch 10. And we're gonna get a jar for this. Now we're gonna select it, and we're gonna add the whole 10. And then, hold on a second. We're gonna select our baking soda. We're gonna add 2 baking. We're gonna select our sugar. We're gonna add 1 sugar. And now we're gonna apply mix. And as you can see, 76.9%. So yeah, just make sure your main ingredient is not in the low 70%. So I would say 76.9 would be the lowest, but feel free to experiment. Again, you feel free to experiment. I would say start off in sector C. They have the highest expectation, so if your mix works well with customers on sector C, it'll work with everyone else. I'm just gonna call it amp mix, apply mix. This is done. Select. We're gonna add. We're gonna save. Alright, so now let's say if you got like you want to start doing larger quantities using the same ingredients, but larger quantities. Okay, we're gonna place 20 amp, select it, and we're gonna be using our mixer since it's more faster. And because we're using 20, we're gonna double the baking soda we were using. Select, add. So we used 2 baking sodas for the 10 amp, so we're gonna be using 4 baking soda. Now for sugar, we used 1 on a 10, so we're gonna be adding 2. And as you can see, we're still in the 76.9. And mix, apply mix. And as you can see, it's going a little bit faster than the mixing tray. Give it a minute. Alright, it's done. As you can see, it's done with the mixing tray. It's 26 grams. So we lost nothing since because its precision loss is 0%. We're going to select it and we're going to add it to the mix we did before with the 10 and 2 baking and 1 sugar. And as you can see, it added just fine to it because it's using the same ingredients, just larger quantities. Now we're going to be moving on to this. I call it Blue Jolly Ranchers. Now for this, you can't really start mixing it right away. You have to mill it first. Mill contents. It's gonna take a while. There's like a bit of a process to mix these Blue Jolly Ranchers. Yeah, you have to mill it, mix it, and then the last is gonna be pilling. We're gonna put our mid jar here. We're gonna select, add, select our baking soda, add, and remember, since we're using 10, we're gonna use 2 baking, 1 sugar. And then apply mix, and as you can see, 76.9. We're gonna call it the main ingredient's name. Apply mix. Give it a minute. Alright, now it's done. Now here, we're gonna select the contents and then add it to, add it to the pill machine. Add it and then make the pills. Yes, you will need to make to mix this blue candy stuff. Yeah, you will need a mortar, your mix, and you'll need this pill machine. We're gonna add it to our jar. Here we go, and it's done, ready to be packaged and used. Now we're gonna move on to crystals. This one's a little different. Alright, we're gonna remove the tray and the mixing. You're gonna want to need a flask and a lab crystallizer. Now for this, you'll need acetone. You can get this at the gas station right at the start. Now we're gonna place our ingredient down and we're ready to mix. So we're gonna select the acetone and add 1. Just 1, that's it. I'm gonna select our crystal, add this, and because we're using the same 10, we're gonna select the baking, add 2, select the sugar, add, Apply mix. And as you can see, it does go down quite a bit because of the acetone right there, but it should still be fine. Now we're gonna mix. Now we're gonna select it and put it into the crystallizer. And I'm gonna crystallize the contents. Alright, and finally we're done. A lot of these things does take a while to do, to mix, pill, and crystallize. We're gonna select and put it in a jar. And there you have it. Easy tutorial on how to mix. So remember, when you start at the game, get like 10 amp, mix right away. 10 amp, 3 baking soda. That's the ingredients you'll start off with mixing right off the bat. Once you get the mortar, you want to get some sugar. It's gonna be like 10 amp, 2 baking, and 1 sugar. I'll write down the recipe and the description. And that's all there is to it. Just remember to watch out the percentage. You don't want to go too low on the 70s. Stay to the high 70s like you just seen, 76.9 or higher. The crystal was a bit on the low side, yes, but I haven't had any issues so far with anyone. I don't know, complaints or anything. And just note, and this is about like the safest mix you can make, but like I said before, no mix is guaranteed to be safe. There will always be a chance for someone to pass away from using these ingredients, this stuff. All right, and that's all there is to it. I'll see you guys next time.